Myth or real, this is Dracula. The name Dracula conjures up a mixture of terror and fascination. Few realize that behind this terrifying figure lies a true story full of mystery, violence, and supernatural legends, seamlessly blending with historical facts. To understand how Count Dracula became one of the most famous figures in horror, we must travel back to the 15th century and explore the life of a man who defies everything we know as human. Vlad III, also known as Vlad the Impaler, ruled Wallachia, a region that is now part of Romania. His cruelty was legendary. Imagine a vast fog-covered landscape stretching before your eyes. In the distance, a towering castle looms, its spires piercing the gray sky. The ground below is littered with stakes on which the bodies of enemies are grotesquely impaled. The cold wind howls, carrying with it the metallic scent of blood. This was Vlad's daily reality, a ruler whose thirst for power knew no bounds, and whose cruel methods instilled fear in all who dared cross him. But Vlad's story doesn't end with his brutality. It begins the myth that he helped create. Picture a dark wooden table covered with dust. On it rests a leather-bound book, its pages turning as a quill scratches across them. The flickering light of a candle casts long shadows across the room. This is where Bram Stoker, in the late 19th century, took the name Vlad and transformed it into the figure we all recognize today: Dracula, the immortal vampire. While Stoker never visited Romania, he was deeply influenced by local legends of the undead and vampires. See a dusty, ancient shelf filled with old, leather-bound books about monsters and myths, and illustrations of vampire-like creatures. As Stoker's pen moves over the paper, the famous character of a bloodthirsty being that thrives in the dark and lives beyond death begins to take shape. Stoker's Dracula was more than just a cruel man. He was a supernatural being, a creature that survived centuries by feeding on human blood. Imagine a tall, elegant window with thick curtains. The pale glow of the full moon illuminates the landscape below. A shadow crosses the room, casting a long figure near the window. The tall figure, dressed in a long cloak, stands staring into the night. His eyes glow red, piercing the darkness. But Dracula's story doesn't end with Stoker's book. Over the centuries, the vampire myth spread, and many cultures developed their own versions of Dracula's, leading to the rise of the idea of the vampire as a nocturnal, immortal predator who becomes a symbol of fear. Picture a medieval village at night, lit only by firelight. The soft glow of the flames casts flickering shadows on the walls. Villagers sit around a fire, speaking in hushed tones, exchanging terrifying tales of the dead returning to feast on the living. As the myth spread, the first cinematic adaptations began to emerge. The 1922 film Nosferatu, directed by F.W. Murnau, was the first major adaptation of Dracula's myth to the screen, though it didn't directly use Stoker's name. Imagine a dark, creepy hallway inside an old mansion. The sound of creaking floorboards echoes as a tall, shadowy figure in tattered clothes slowly emerges from the dark. The eerie figure of a vampire slinks between the shadows, its sharp, elongated teeth glinting as it stalks its prey. In 1931, Bela Lugosi brought Dracula to life in a way that would become iconic. Scene: the stage of an old theater. A man in a long flowing cape steps slowly into view. His face is stern, his eyes penetrating. He opens his mouth and speaks in a deep, unsettling voice. "I am Dracula, ... double quotes. His words send a chill through the air. With that simple line, Lugosi made Dracula one of the most memorable characters in horror history. and the role became synonymous with the actor. But the myth of Dracula didn't stop there. In the following years, Dracula appeared in numerous adaptations, including more modern takes that reimagined his story for contemporary audiences. Picture a bustling city street at night, neon lights flashing, blending the old with the new. A figure, dressed in an old-fashioned suit, walks confidently through the crowd, seemingly out of place yet completely at home. This modernized Dracula represents how the myth continues to adapt. In the 1990s, Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula reintroduced the Count as a tragic figure, hungry for love and revenge, adding an emotional depth to the character. Imagine a dramatic battle between a powerful figure and another set against a backdrop of a fiery inferno. The figure stands tall, an air of tragedy surrounding him as he struggles with his own internal conflict, torn between love and vengeance. But the legacy of Dracula extends far beyond the screen. He has become a cultural icon, transcending the boundaries of horror. Imagine a large mural showing Dracula's many forms over time, from the early films to modern portrayals, from comics to video games. His figure is instantly recognizable in all its variations. From fashion to music, fine art to literature, Dracula has inspired and influenced countless creative minds. His image adorns t-shirts, posters, jewelry, and tattoos, reflecting his enduring appeal and recognition worldwide. Dracula has become a symbol of rebellion, a dark romantic figure who defies societal norms and challenges conventional morality. So why does the myth of Dracula remain so relevant? The answer lies in the fact that the vampire represents our deepest fears and desires: the fear of death, the longing for immortality, and the temptation of the forbidden. Imagine a figure looking into a mirror, his reflection slowly fading away, like a vampire hiding in the shadows, defying the laws of life and death. This is the essence of Dracula, a figure who challenges everything we know about mortality. Through Dracula, humanity's story is told. The figure forces us to confront our own mortality, as well as the boundaries of what we know about life and death. His legend is alive in our culture, adapting to the changing times, yet always retaining its essence of terror and fascination. Picture a dark, modern city illuminated by neon lights, with long, haunting shadows stretching across the buildings. Dracula may be closer to us than we think, representing our own fears of a world growing increasingly dark and unpredictable. As long as there are shadows and fears, Dracula will continue to walk among us, an eternal symbol of what it means to face the unknown and the mysteries that lie within the darkness of the human soul. For nearly 700 years, stories have been told of the horrors perpetrated by Vlad III, the Prince of Wallachia, later known as Vlad the Impaler. Many believe he dipped his bread in blood, a detail that never appeared in any contemporary source, but was included in sensationalist pamphlets written by Vlad's enemies in an attempt to discredit him. Yet despite the disturbing nature of these claims, they were not entirely without basis. The region of Wallachia during Vlad's rule was plagued by disease, poverty, and brutal attacks by Ottoman forces. People did indeed die horrible deaths, and their bodies swelled, turned black, and oozed blood. This horrifying condition could be mistaken for the symptoms of vampirism, which was widely believed in Eastern Europe at the time. Some accounts say that Vlad ordered the exhumed bodies of suspected vampires to be burned or chopped to pieces, a practice seen as necessary to protect the living from the supposedly evil spirits afflicting the dead. However, these graphic measures may have been exaggerated or entirely fabricated, by those seeking to tarnish Vlad's reputation. Despite the lack of concrete evidence supporting the claim that Vlad dipped his bread in blood, the image has become synonymous with his persona. It serves as a chilling reminder of the lengths to which rumors and propaganda can go to destroy a leader and the blurred lines between fact and fiction in shaping history. But what is certain is the impact that Vlad's actions and the legends surrounding him have had on our collective imagination. Whether he was a ruthless prince or a victim of circumstance, his story has captured the human fascination with the darker aspects of our nature. Imagine a misty, foggy landscape stretching as far as the eye can see. In the distance, atop a hill, stands a crumbling castle with tall, pointed towers scraping the sky. The wind whispers through the crumbling stones, carrying with it tales of a brutal past. Inside the fortress, a shadow moves, a tall, imposing figure clad in dark armor, his face obscured by the helmet's visor. He is Vlad the Impaler, a warrior forged in the fires of adversity, ready to defend his people against any threat. His gaze is unwavering, his grip tight on the sword at his side, symbolizing his unbreakable spirit. His story is one of courage, resilience, and the heavy burden of leadership in a time when survival meant embracing the darkness. Despite the scars etched onto his soul, Vlad remains steadfast, a beacon of hope amidst the chaos and brutality of his world. He leads his people with unwavering determination, standing as a symbol of resistance against the Ottomans, who threatened to engulf his land in war. His strategic mind plans defenses, rallying his troops with inspiring words and leading them into battle with unmatched valor. His bravery on the battlefield knows no bounds, fighting with the strength of a cornered wolf, determined to protect his domain. Yet the weight of his responsibilities presses heavily upon him. For Vlad understands that every decision he makes will affect the lives of those under his rule. He wrestles with the consequences of his actions, torn between the need to be ruthless and the desire to be merciful. Despite the challenges he faces, Vlad refuses to compromise his principles. He stands firm in his beliefs, even when faced with betrayal and political machinations, remaining a symbol of integrity in a world consumed by deceit. In the darkest hours, when the threat of the Ottomans looms largest, Vlad finds solace in the natural beauty around him. He seeks refuge in the embrace of nature, finding strength and clarity amidst the splendor of the Carpathian Mountains. Here, surrounded by the majestic peaks, he finds a moment of peace, knowing that the tranquility of nature will endure even in the face of adversity. As Vlad navigates the treacherous waters of politics and warfare, he encounters individuals who challenge and shape his perspective. Some become loyal allies, standing by his side through thick and thin, while others harbor secrets that threaten to undermine his efforts. Each interaction leaves an indelible mark on Vlad, forcing him to grow and evolve as a leader. Throughout his journey, Vlad grapples with the consequences of his actions, haunted by the pain and suffering he has caused in his pursuit of justice. He questions whether his methods are truly ethical and ponders the toll his choices take on his own humanity. These introspective moments serve as a reminder of the complexities that define him. As the story unfolds, Vlad's reputation as a merciless ruler spreads, solidifying his place in history as a force to be reckoned with. The very mention of his name strikes fear into the hearts of his enemies, cementing his image as a symbol of power and ruthlessness. In the end, Vlad's legacy is one of both triumph and tragedy. He leaves behind a legacy of courage and determination, a testament to the strength of the human spirit in the face of overwhelming odds. Yet his story also serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the consequences of sacrificing humanity in the pursuit of power.